My gosh, that one was really good too. Holy crap! So, why is that one your favorite, bruh?
Have we started?
I don't know. Have we started? Or do you start? I don't know.
All right, I'm hitting record.
Oh,
we're,
yeah,
we're, we're
it
off to
started.
we're off to a great
So,
start.
great start. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm recording on my end just in case something goes wrong on yours. So
Okay.
I'll have audio. It'll have like you'll have like a video format with it, but I think you could splice the audio out
Okay.
of it. So we'll have both. But either way,
I guess we should introduce it, right? Like,
yeah. To try, yeah. Well, so hey guys, welcome to the Trash Podcast.
what's up?
What's up? I'm RuinedRainCrow. As you could probably tell by the highlighting, and I'm the weird Cyclops dude drinking coffee. Not currently drinking coffee, but hey. And who's my cohort?
I am J Star Killer, or yeah, I forgot my name. J Star Killer 93.
Great start. Great start.
Yeah.
Ah,
I'm looking at my own name, so like I don't know, like I tripped over reading it, and that messed me up. I'm J Star Killer 93.
oh yeah. Okay, smooth. Saved it. Uh, uh, and we're here to talk about just random things, I guess, that come to our heads. And I guess today's subject is favorite game of all time. What's your favorite game of all time, bruh?
Well, I have two. It's BioShock and Mafia 2. The BioShock series and then Mafia 2.
Oh, nice. I love I really love the BioShock series for sure. I haven't ever played Mafia 2. I haven't actually played that one yet. But I love BioShock. I love all the games in that one.
Mhm.
I'm partial to the first one, particularly
Mhm.
because of the twist in it. And Infinite, I really loved Infinite. I loved its ending too. And BioShock 2 was really good as well. Like a lot of people, I think, didn't give that one a chance, but that one was absolutely a fantastic game too. It just kind of gets overshadowed by its bigger siblings at this point.
Yeah, me personally, I agree. The first one definitely the would you kindly thing when I first played
Oh
it
yeah.
was
Oh my
like,
gosh.
what? So that was really cool. But yeah, I think the second one is also just as good. I liked I don't know if you played it, Minerva's Den, the DLC.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't remember if I actually played that or not. I'm not sure if I had it. That's before I had money to get shit like that. Sorry, get crap like that. Uh,
we
so
can curse if you want to.
yeah,
This isn't for you people. If you want me to, if you want, Jesus, if you want me to edit a version for you, I can take out the cursing. But for my
yeah,
channel, you
yeah,
curse freely. I don't give a shit.
yeah. I'll try to keep it still as PG as I can. I need to watch my speech anyways. Uh,
Okay. Yeah, you have to practice for your
it,
streams. Anyway, we're back.
Yeah. Well, it's because of I'll be honest. Just as a sidetrack, it's because of St. Louis. St. Louis, I've gotten way like I was kind of like a little loose with my cursing before. St. Louis, like my workplace, they curse like sailors up there.
Oh,
Like it is
really?
unlike anything. Yeah, St. Louis, they do not care. You'll be cursed out by the guy who you let cross the street. Like you go to let them cross the street, and then they curse you out for letting them cross the street. They get annoyed at you. That
Oh my
happened. That
god.
happened. That legit happened to me on my way home.
Oh my god. That's
Oh yeah, it was
hilarious.
ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, dude, I am letting you cross the street. Next time I'll just run you over. Fine, asshole.
Oh
I mean,
man.
butthole.
Yeah.
Anyway, either way, back to the actual subject.
Oh
um,
Jesus! All right, Bioshock.
yeah, Bioshock.
That'll
Yeah, the
be
Bioshock.
that'll be a bonus clip. The cursing.
Yeah, but yeah, Bioshock is one of those games. It's actually I don't have any tattoos,
Hmm.
but I want to get the tattoo of like a man chooses but a slave obeys or something like that.
Mm.
Or something like that. I want to get that and like have like like the chain of the character at the beginning
Oh,
of the first game.
I'm gonna
I
let
want to
you.
get that.
I'm gonna pull a Kanye. I'm gonna let you finish, but yeah, I want that tattoo too. The chain thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I want that. Like I actually kind of want that. That's one of the few like tattoos I want to get. I have one other idea for a tattoo I want to get, but that's the easy small tattoo. That if
hmm
I was just to get one tattoo, that would be one I'd actually be willing to get. Um
Well, but before we
and
move off of tattoos, yeah, you've seen mine, right? I have my kid's name,
oh yeah, I saw it.
and then I have a Jack and Sally.
Yeah. I moved that too, I think.
I want it.
Is it-
Huh?
did I see that one? Yeah, I did see that one. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. Then I want to get my little girl's name. I want to get a Harley Quinn one. I would like to get on one of my wrists the chain thing from BioShock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I was thinking about, if you remember in Ghost in the Shell, you know how in their back of their necks they have like that outline thing where they plug in to like connect to like the cyberspace and stuff.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, I'd like to do something like that.
Yeah. For me, the only other one would be like Legend of Zelda themed.
Mm.
Um, and it would be one where it had like Zelda, Link, and Ganondorf all together, like kind of posed.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like it on my arm, probably my right arm, but like have it there, and it'd be in like kind of a cartoony style.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably closer to the Link Between Worlds or like kind of one of the more toony, a little bit more like stylized. I don't want a realistic look. I want a stylized look. Um, yeah, or something maybe not quite Wind Waker. I think Wind Waker's a little bit too far on the cartoony edge,
Yeah.
but something along those lines where like they're kind of posed together, like Link and Zelda, and then maybe like Ganondorf in the middle or something like that. And maybe like I have an idea for the motif. I plan to sketch it out at one point, but I haven't done it yet because I've never gotten a tattoo, and I have to get a good tattoo artist who can actually do what I'm wanting to do anyway. So
Yeah.
gonna, I gotta get there. But the Bioshock one is definitely on my list, and there's only a handful of other like ones I've considered, but nothing that I've like entertained well enough that's actually stuck, except for that Zelda one and then the Bioshock one. Are the main two. I'm sure once I do it, I'll be like, well, I could always do another.
Yeah.
I know people get into the rabbit hole on the tattoos.
Yeah. I don't think I'm
Uh,
like that in like hardcore like some people get, but yeah, after I got my kid's name, I was like, I would never thought I would ever have a tattoo. I got my kid's name, and then I was like, yeah, I think I'll do like a like not something different, and I did the Jack and Sally.
are you saying you don't want to tattoo your eyeballs and
No,
make it all pure pitch black?
no.
Yeah, or
Go
turn yourself
blind in
into a
the
lizard
future.
man?
No. Yeah, oh, no. Not at all.
Ah, wow. Lightweight. Don't die, man.
Oh
uh,
man.
yeah. So yeah, but Bioshock definitely one of those really good ones. That's definitely like my. I'm not sure if it's in my top 20 or top 10. I'm not quite sure where it falls. I'd have to like assess all the games I played,
Mhm.
but it's high up there. It's really high up there in those games, especially the series. Um, for sure for me. So I could definitely see that one. What about Mafia 2? I haven't actually ever played Mafia 2. What makes that one special?
Um, I think it mostly has because like my thing is really like movies, and I like and I like gangster movies and that kind of stuff. And I
Oh yeah.
like it has a really good story, and I like the time period. And it's like everything is done really well. The story is done really well. The characters are done really well. The time period, I mean, it's amazing to go in and drive those cars and the clothes and all that. And
Oh
the
yeah.
story's really good. Kind of like it's kind of
Nice.
like my same thing with BioShock. Great story. I love the whole concept of like the city under the water. And Infinite too. You know, the city in the clouds. It's all like really cool.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, I definitely can. I can see that. For me, like I said, I haven't played Mafia, but I do like games that really are able to capture that time period or capture that vibe
Mm-hmm.
so well. Like it's like you're literally playing like that gangster movie or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I got that feeling kind of with stuff like say like GTA, like GTA 5, where it felt like I was playing like one of those almost like HBO dramas, almost like gangster dramas, where just crazy shit's happening all the time,
Yeah.
and it's just like so over the top. Like you kind of feel like you're playing a movie, but at the same time, you're clearly playing a game, and it's just fun. I know it's not like the best example of like capturing everything 100%, but usually the GTA games kind of are capturing an idea. Like Vice City is clearly like kind of Scarface inspired and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Uh, so yeah, I can definitely see that, and of course, Bioshock captures that like kind of Art Deco
Mm-hmm.
aesthetic so well. I love games that do that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I've fallen in love with actual Art Deco because they went an extra mile with that game to make sure that they didn't do just Art Deco esque. Like it's actually the Art Deco art style, and architecture style, which is just beautiful.
Yeah,
Uh,
Art Deco is my favorite. That's why I loved BioShock. I like the fact that it's like in the 50s and 60s. The Art
oh
Deco,
yeah,
the
yeah.
fact that it's like an underwater city. Batman the animated series, it's like one of my favorite cartoons because the
Oh yeah,
city
yeah.
is literally Art Deco.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love that as well. It's just a great aesthetic to work
Mhm.
with. Hmm.
It's beautiful.
Uh, I'll be honest. This whole time, I've been racking my brain over what game really is my favorite right now. Kind of stalling. I have to say, um, because I have a few games that are contenders in that spot. The first one that kind of comes to mind is probably Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask from Nintendo 64,
Mhm.
because that's such a big part of my childhood. I know a lot of people that'd be like for Ocarina of Time, which is also really high up there, but I like Majora's Mask more than Ocarina of Time.
Um
Um,
uh, Me speaking as someone who's been playing them recently, having not played them before,
yeah,
I agree. I like Majora's Mask more than Ocarina of Time.
yeah. I guess the reason why, I like it more than a lot of the other Zeldas as well. Which I mean, I know they're like the people who love like Link to the Past and the old 2D Zeldas, which I love those games too. And Zelda is easily my favorite Nintendo franchise. I don't know when this will actually go up on your channel or whatever, but around this time, like the last Nintendo Direct came out, which had the Skyward Sword announcement and all that, but they didn't like do anything for the 35th anniversary for Zelda. It seems like there's still time, but it doesn't sound like they're doing anything. It seems like Mario got all the stuff again. Maybe
That
slightly disappointment.
I think that's bullshit. They should definitely do something in the lines of like what they did with Mario. Do like an old 64 game, like they did. What was it? Nintendo 64, Mario. What was it? Sunshine, right?
Yeah, yeah, they did Sunshine and then they did Galaxy. So they
Yeah,
basically just went up, from 64, GameCube, and Wii. Is
yeah.
what I think they did.
I think they should do something like that for Zelda. Cause what are the two biggest franchises on Nintendo? It's Mario and Zelda. I mean, I guess Pokemon as well, but
Yeah, I'd say Mario and Pokemon are the biggest two. Mario being bigger than Pokemon somehow, as crazy as that sounds, but Mario's still actually bigger. And then after that, it's like Zelda, I think, would be the third. And then after that, it'd be like Metroid. And Metroid's anniversary is coming up soon, but we still haven't heard what's going on with like the new Metroid game. But uh, it's neither here nor there. But definitely, Majora's Mask is one of those games that just I always am willing to go back to, and I love it because I typically don't like games that have like the timed mechanic where like
Mhm.
basically you have so much time to complete your stuff. But I guess I find the brilliance of Majora's Mask is because if you try to 100% the game, you ultimately always have to go back in time eventually. You can't do everything in one day. But you wind up learning everything about the characters. There's like not hardly a single character in the game where you don't know their routine by the time you're done with the game, and you don't know basically who they are by the end of the game, which is not an easy feat. Most games, like, they'll have like a plethora of characters, and some of them are interesting and all that, but like they don't they don't last. They don't stick in your head for very long. You'll have just a handful that you'll like the most or whatever. But in Majora's Mask, like I know like every character, from the people at the ranch and what they do, to like the different like construction workers, like the boss worker and what he does and how the mayor is handling everything and how the mailman is doing his duty all the way to the last minute. The strong freaking the sword master who's like super calm and collected, like everything until like the last day, and then he's like whimpering, scared for his life. And you feel for the characters near the end, like you care about these characters, which is something I haven't really had in that many titles. There are other games that do it, but not that many. And considering that it was a game that was made in like, I think less than 2 years, it was like a year and a half or something like that, or like a year almost. It's amazing how much they crammed into it. There's so much to do in that game. The dungeon is pretty good, except for one. If you played it, you know which one. There's one. There's one. It's just a confusing mess. I hate it. But every Zelda has, I guess, that one dungeon that just kind of sucks. Usually water themed.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a
But
couple compilation about complaining about water themed levels in Zelda.
yeah, a lot of them are pretty bad. But I don't know. I love the mask mechanic. I like the the gameplay, the stories, and just everything. Along with the darker themes, the themes of death and acceptance and recovery and all that stuff. It is just amazing. So definitely not Ocarina, but Majora's Mask for sure is really high up there on my list. Um, from there, I'd have to say probably maybe Final Fantasy VI as well. That's a big one for me as well. Which is surprising because it's not my first Final Fantasy, which I think that's a lot of the cases for a lot of people is their first one is their favorite.
Mm.
Which my first was Final Fantasy X, which I really do love. I love that game. But Final Fantasy VI has stuck with me ever since I played it, surprisingly. And it's another game where you have a lot of characters and you actually seem to care about all of them. There are so many characters you could have in that game, but they're all amazing. There's so many great storylines. The villain is just the villain wins. Spoilers. The villain wins. There's no other way about it. They just sort of clean up after it, but like he won. That guy succeeded in his goal, and it's impressive how they did that one for me. So if I had to pick two, at least right now, kind of on the spot,
Yeah.
because I haven't had, we didn't really think about this, but we just kind of like, what do we want to talk about today?
Yeah.
But those are the two that kind of initially come to mind. But I could probably think of others if giving enough time. I could probably like start hashing it out in my head, and then the wars and battles of who falls where would start falling into place.
Yeah.
For me. Oh. Any honorable mentions for you in particular?
Yes.
Uh,
The Batman Arkham series. Love
Mhm.
those guys, but I'm a big Batman fan. As you know, you've been to my house. You've seen all the Batman shit I have.
Oh yeah, I saw it. You're about to have another thing too.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Arkham series, and then like three old classics would be from Nintendo 64. Both, well, these two are both from 64. Would be 007. What is it?
GoldenEye.
No, surprisingly, no, because it's not the first one that I played. The World Is Not Enough.
Oh, world is not enough. Wow, that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of surprising to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's the first 007 game I played, so for me, that'll always be my favorite.
Wow.
And so, yeah, and then the third one is. Oh, wait, fuck, I'm getting. Okay, so the Arkham series for like currentish gen,
Yeah.
as number two. And then for 64 would be The World Is Not Enough and Hydro Thunder. It's a boat racing game.
Oh yeah, I know which one to talk about.
And then GameCube, it's The Simpsons Hit Run.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting way to think of it. Like favorite from each generation. Ooh, that's hard.
Mhm.
Um,
Xbox, of
well,
course. Halo. I mean,
yeah, I think Halo kind of wins by default on
yeah.
Xbox, unless you had a hand. There were some good side games that people probably loved on Xbox, but that was like the main one I played on Xbox. So it'd probably be Halo 2 specifically for
Mm.
me, for Xbox. Trying to think of my favorite PlayStation game then. My gosh. That's hard because there's some games I loved on PlayStation. I love Soul Reaver 2. I remember playing Dark Cloud, the first one, the one that like nobody really talks about. Everybody always talks about the second,
Mm.
which when I was a kid, everybody said was terrible. The second one, so I never played it. But then like I grew up, and then everybody's like, "Oh yeah, the second one was amazing." I'm like, "Oh screw you guys!" I skipped that one because everybody said it was terrible. So what was it? So I wish I'd have played that one. I know they did like a port on PlayStation 3 or something like that, but I didn't have a PlayStation 3 really at the time. Um, but PlayStation 2, I really love Kingdom Hearts 2 on PlayStation 2. I'm not gonna
Mm.
lie. That was a big one for me on PlayStation 2. And of course Final Fantasy 10. I think those were my two favorites. Like if I could just go back and play any game again, those two I would easily play again, like multiple times over. Which I know Kingdom Hearts got a re-release, and Final Fantasy X got a re-release. I have it on my PC right now, actually. um, yeah, and I plan to play it again at some point because I want to play it again. But I loved Final Fantasy X. That was Final Fantasy X. That's another contender for a high up on my list, but I
Mm-hmm.
kind of want to keep it one game per franchise, at least for like best, you know, greatest of all time for me. The goats.
Yeah.
Um, but 10 is definitely one of my favorites on PlayStation 2 for sure. I was a sucker for JRPGs back in the day, and I still love them. I just don't have the time to play them anymore, really. Uh, but my gosh, I love the story of Titus and Yuna. Even the campy, weird moments, which like there's the infamous laughing scene, which is a lot of people take it as like a bad voice acting moment, but it's really not. If you take the context of the scene, it actually makes sense why they're laughing the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why they're like that, but and I'm not sure if you've seen it or if you know what I'm talking about, but there's a point where like the characters are doing this weird ha 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 ha, like literally saying it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds goofy out of context, but in context, it actually makes sense. It's not actually a bad voice acting moment because it's actually intentional for that particular thing to be there. And most of the voice acting is actually top notch in it. It's the first game of the series to have voice acting, actually.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah, and it was just amazing. I love that one all the way, beginning, middle, and end. And I'll have to play it again when I get a chance. I'm hoping when things settle out in the future, I'll have a chance to play that one again because I want to play some nostalgic games as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I do my streams and all that stuff later. But uh, so PlayStation 2, I put Final Fantasy X up there, but also Kingdom Hearts 2. That's also a really good one. That's probably like my favorite action RPG I've ever played. Still, I still don't think there's been one that quite tops it in my eyes. GameCube, probably. It was probably just be Wind Waker or Twilight Princess.
Oh, Wind
Legend
Waker's
of
a good
Zelda.
one.
Yeah. Which it'll probably be, I kind of have to put Twilight Princess by default because I haven't had a chance to fully play through Wind Waker. We had it, but I never got a chance. My brother basically had the GameCube in his room, so I had to. I played it on occasion. I did get to play Twilight Princess though, and I beat the living crap out of that one. I had like all but the last heart piece, and I knew where it was at. I just didn't want to go get it. It was in the water temple. What do you know? In that game. But Twilight Princess was really good. But I think Wind Waker was better than Twilight Princess. Not by a huge margin, but it was better.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Xbox, Halo 2. After that, I didn't really have a PlayStation 3. My brother had the PlayStation 3, so I didn't play a lot of the PlayStation 3 titles. So I don't really have a favorite from that gen. But 360, probably between Oblivion, Skyrim, or Halo 3. Not gonna lie. I loved
Two
Call
good
of Duty
ones.
back then. Yeah. But I'd say I think I liked Oblivion more than Skyrim. Personally. And I know it's more jank than Skyrim, but I love Oblivion. I spent so many hours in that game. And then Halo 3 was my first online multiplayer shooter I ever played. So I have that one holds a special place in my heart. But I think between the two, I really feel like Oblivion was probably my favorite on 360. And then after that, I joined the PC Master Race. And so I just playing PC games, which I don't know what my favorite game on PC is right now. I'll be honest. I don't think I have a particular favorite on PC yet.
Damn PC.
Spilt my drink.
You getting drunk yet?
Nah, not really. I'm actually pretty much out of gin though.
Oh.
I still got quite a bit in the glass, but after this glass is done, I'll be out. I have some vodka in the fridge downstairs, but I don't want to get it. I'll save that for later.
Yeah.
No need to sauce up too much tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm classy. I drink gin.
Yes. Very classy.
Very classy. It's actually been a long time since I've had some gin, and it's quite refreshing. It's tasty. It's nice to switch it up. It's got flavor, unlike vodka, so you can actually taste it.
Yeah. Now what? Now what we talking about?
And that's why we call it the Trash Podcast.
Yeah, because it's trash.
It's the content you come for. Well, we talked about our favorites and all that.
Yeah.
Let's think.
If
I
anybody,
remember last time we tried to talk about we tried talking about films. We know how well that went last time, but
Yeah,
I think we are a little bit more prepared this time.
yeah, let's not talk about. All right, okay.
Yeah.
First,
They don't know. They don't know.
First of
It
all,
never.
first of all, if anybody watches this, it's it's podcast 1.1. And it's gonna be a little random. When we do the next ones, we'll have like a subject, and we'll talk about just that one subject. But we did try to record the first one before live on stream on Crow's stream, and I got a little too drunk and went into a whole tirade about some stuff, and You'll never see the light of day for that.
it'll
That's
it'll be forever buried in the annals of history.
yes.
And whoever was unfortunate enough to pop up into that stream,
I
which
am
I don't know
sorry.
who popped up, but
I
yeah,
apologize.
yeah, that was you were toasted that day. You were toasted.
Yeah, it was bad.
But it's all good. It's all good. We're good now. Um,
Yeah, we can talk about film. Yeah.
yeah, that's your expertise. I'm more knowledgeable on games, and I'm not really that knowledgeable anymore. But I'm knowledgeable on many subjects, and but not a master of any of them.
Yeah. Oh man. Jesus, films. Fuck. I can talk about this forever. How about you pick something about relating to films, and I'll just kind of go off of you. Because I mean, I could
Uh,
talk old movies. Like if we're putting like all of time for movies, like old movies, medium, and then recent movies, directors, behind the scenes, I could go on forever. So I'll just go off of you since you say you're not as knowledgeable or
um,
whatever. You know.
I, I wouldn't even know. Um, I don't know. Maybe just
Okay.
let's get.
Okay.
I guess
I have an idea. Okay.
yeah.
Your favorite old movie, black and white, if you've seen any.
Oh, like old black and white films.
Yeah, your favorite.
Oh, probably of the old black and white films. Oh my gosh, there's two, and one I can't remember the name of actually, because it's been so long since I've seen it.
What's it about?
But it was about like these people, they go and they wind up finding these old dinosaurs or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like this baby dinosaur that they are with, and then it dies in the end, and I remember I cried every time when I was a kid. So I love that film, but it was like one of those films that somebody recorded on a tape for me. So
Yeah.
I never had the actual movie, and I can't remember what it was called. It was like Baby Dinosaur or something like that. So that
Yeah.
was one that's partial to me. But of the older black and white films that I've seen more recently, as in like last 10 years, um, or so, would probably be 12 Angry Men.
Oh, that's a
That
good
was a
one.
really good one. That's a really good one. I love that film a
That's a
lot.
great movie.
And if we want to get to old stuff, something I saw, I can't remember when I saw it. It was the Man Who Laughs, and I got interested in it because it was the
The template for the
inspiration for.
Joker. Yes.
Yeah, it was the original inspiration for his design or whatever. Even though the character himself isn't really like the
Yeah.
Joker in any way, but that's a really good film, actually.
I
That's a really good one. Of the silent films, that that was an amazing film. I love that one as
I
well.
I have to say I've never seen it, but I've seen a bunch of images because I like. Well, I mean, I already said it. Yeah, it's the template, at least visually for the Joker. I know that.
Yeah.
I actually haven't
You
seen it though.
definitely should see. It is a silent film, so it has like music playing, but like there are no
Mm-hmm.
voice actors.
Yeah, yeah.
Um but that's an emotionally driven movie. That's a really good film.
I'm definitely gonna add
Um
that to my watch.
Yeah, it's a special film. It's not what you think though. Like the main character is a misunderstood character,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Because he's like has a permanent disfigurement that makes him always smile.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's sort of a juxtaposition because there's another character who always puts on a fake smile, but he's doing it for nefarious purposes.
Mm.
But so it's just sort of like this idea of like neither character is really smiling. Both smiles aren't real. It doesn't show their true intentions. But the reasons for it are completely different. And it's a great film. It gets all over it gets super crazy all over the place. But I love it. I that's one of the types of films I just love. Um only other black and white film is a black and white film that is intentionally black and white, not because it had to be black and white, and that's Young Frankenstein.
Oh my god! All right, that doesn't count. That's 70s. But oh my god, I
know it doesn't
love.
count. I know that's not what we're talking about, but my
Oh,
God, do I love that movie.
I love Mel Brooks. My god, that movie is
Oh.
so fucking good.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? I love it.
Such a fucking good movie. I love that movie so much. It's so good.
That's an amazing one.
Oh man, such a great movie.
Oh yeah.
All right, before we go to the next, I'll say wow, that is a great movie, Malcolm. I love that movie so much.
Wait, which one?
the Young Frankenstein. Yeah,
Frank. Oh yeah, it's amazing.
I love that movie. All right, black and white. Such a good movie. I love. My God, fuck, you got me started. I love it when they meet the old lady, and she's like Frau Blucher, and the horse always makes the noise.
Yeah, it's always every time. It doesn't matter where she's at or what they're doing or saying. Just, Frau Blucher.
It's so stupid, but it's so good. All right,
I would like to do the fucking throwing darts or whatever. He throws it and he hits the cat or something like that.
Yeah, I like what is he? He has like a fake arm, right? It's like a prosthetic arm. I like when he's like looking away and he does like the sound effect with his hand. He's like and he throws. Oh, it's so good.
Nice grouping.
Yeah. All right, favorite black and white.
Black and white film.
Yeah. Definitely Psycho, because it was the first ever black and white movie that I saw. And I love Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah, it's a really good movie. And then Paths of Glory by Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick is my favorite director, and I love that movie. It's so good.
I have not seen that one yet. I'll have to see if I can find that at some point.
It's a war movie, but just like that guy was like Stanley was like so ahead of the curve with all of his movies. It's so good. Just the way he shoots it and lights it and everything. And it has what's his name? Fuck. It's important. God damn it. What's his name? Kirk Douglas. Michael Douglas's father. Michael Douglas's father. Yeah. Kirk Douglas. Amazing actor. Really good movie. He's great in it.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
So those are my.
I'll put that one on my list for sure. I don't think I've seen, because I know I haven't seen that one yet. I need to see more older films anyways. I get fascinated by older movies. Especially like the ones that like are lost to time. And it's kind of hard to find them now. Unless they've been like re-released in some way. I love like learning about older films, because there's like some actually like super old Dracula movies that have been lost to time as well. That I'd love to see and see how like faithful they are to the original book. I know Cinemassacre, the guy, like, have you heard the Angry Video Game Nerd?
I know of him, yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, he's really a film buff. He's more of a film guy than he is actually a video game guy. And so he does a lot of studies on like films, and that's one of the things he did, is that he went through every single Dracula movie and compared it to the book. And how close each one of the movies actually came to the book in some form or fashion, and ranked them. And he also talked about some of the history of a lot of the Dracula films and like which ones have been like lost to time, even though we know they existed. The film is gone somewhere. Either somebody has it somewhere and doesn't realize what they have, or it's like got burned down in a fire or something like that,
Or it's like
or yeah,
lost in some vault or something.
yeah, it's somewhere else, and to get it out and then release it to the public will be very difficult to do. Definitely recommend it. Since you like films, you'll probably like his stuff, and I like watching his stuff because he talks about the history of a lot of films. It's how
I
I learned about certain films myself. But
Yeah, I saw his recently, The Shining, because there's like a whole thing with the Shining movie by Stanley, and how Stephen King, he didn't like it because it wasn't faithful to his book, and how he had to get the right this whole thing. So
oh
he made
yeah,
like a TV movie, and the video game nerd did a whole thing kind of like
oh yeah,
defending the TV movie, because it is god awful, but he was like pointing
yeah,
out like it's good stuff, you know.
yeah. I'm sure it has its merits. Yeah, like everything has its merits, really. But I've seen a very large portion of that TV special. I couldn't really watch it very long.
Yeah,
It wasn't very. It
it's
was hard to get through.
yeah, it's faithful to the book, but they definitely like, yeah, they I don't know, they whatever, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. It's so bad, I don't remember most of it, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
At this point, I kinda just left it. It's just out of my memory. Uh,
All right,
but, yeah, those are some pretty cool ones.
favorite.
Oh,
You good?
yeah.
Okay. Favorite 70s movie. So from 70 to 79.
Uh, I'm not even sure if I would know if it was from the '70s or not.
Name it.
And
I might be able to know.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't even know which films I watched are from the '70s or not. Uh, shoot. Why don't you go? Since you probably have a film in mind. I'm not sure because I wouldn't even know when. I usually don't know when my films that I like actually came out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest.
All right,
Even though I probably should.
70s. Clockwork Orange by Stanley Kubrick. As I've said, I like Stanley.
I have
And
yet to have a chance to watch that one all the way through. I know it was on Netflix a while back and it was on my list. I
it's
want to see that one. I know it's a great one.
yeah, it is very good, and it is still there.
Hmm.
So yeah, Clockwork Orange by Stanley Kubrick with Malcolm McDowell. Great
All right.
movie. And then Alien. That's a
Alien's good.
that's
That's a
such a
really
good movie.
yeah.
And then for the final one, it has to be Halloween.
Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. When did Aliens come out?
Ooh, I want to say 78. I think Halloween came out in 79. Here, let me verify before somebody will watch this and be like, okay, it was 79 for Alien, and I think 78 is
79.
Halloween. Let me make
All
sure.
right.
No, 19. Yeah, so I got them confused. So 78 is Halloween, 79 is Alien.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, probably.
And then Clockwork came out
on
in
this-
71, if anybody cares.
All right. I don't know. I had to look up movies from the '70s to actually know if it's actually from the '70s.
Well,
So
okay.
I'm not sure.
All right, we'll do this for you. We'll do from 70 to 89. So like an old, I mean, it would be like an old movie because you'd know if something is from the 90s.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is a lot of the movies I used to watch are from the '90s, if I'm being honest. So
All right,
it's
yeah,
kind of hard for me
just
to.
put in like famous 70s movies and see.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, cool.
Trying to
My bad.
remember, trying to remember what movies were even around in that front that see if there's any that like stick out to me.
Yeah.
Specifically. Oh, Rocky came out in 76? Oh yeah, Rocky. Easy.
Oh, Rocky.
Yeah, the first Rocky. Absolutely. That's an amazing film. I love that movie.
Surprisingly, I have yet to see the Rocky movies.
Really?
Yeah. I was more of an Arnold guy, so I've seen like almost all his. I haven't seen Sylvester Stallone's movies that much.
You need to see Rocky, at least Rocky 1 for sure. The other ones are kind of hit or miss. They kind of get goofy as they go along, but the first one is amazing.
Yeah, my cousin keeps going on about these. Like, you have to see Rocky 1. You don't have to see the other ones. You have to see the first. Like, I know, man. It's on my list. I will. But I have so much shit. I promise I'll get to it.
Well, it needs to be bumped up right now, mister.
Okay. All right, Crow. Yeah, so, it's up there. It's been bumped up by 10.
Okay.
Shit, you know what? But, I'm going to try my best to watch it tomorrow. That's it. Yeah. It's done. Yeah. I'm watching it tomorrow.
Yeah, totally check it out for sure. It is absolutely, the first one is so fucking good. Oh my gosh, I love it.
All right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Of course.
I forgot that came out in the 70s. Oh my god, that is such a great 75. Movie. That's the only Sorry, I don't, that's my favorite, and that's my only favorite musical. It's the only musical I've been able to actually watch all the way through. I love that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. It's not my favorite musical, but my god, is it a great one.
Mm-hmm.
I could sing a lot of the songs in that one.
I know all the songs by heart.
Yeah, I know a lot of those songs by heart. Sweet Transvestite. Sometimes I just feel like singing that at work. I'm not going to lie.
All the songs are so good.
Yeah. So yeah, Rocky Horror, that's probably between that and Rocky at least. Buddy, both named Rocky, but yeah, for very different reasons.
They both have characters named Rocky in them.
Yeah. Life of Brian's really good. I enjoyed that one. That's 79.
Life of Brian.
Monty Python.
Yeah. That's good.
That was a pretty good one. Outside of that, I mean, Star Wars, of course. The first Star Wars came out.
Yeah, 77. Yeah, Star Wars. I mean, of course, it's a classic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Westworld, the original Westworld came out in 73.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. They got the new
series
show that came out. Yeah, the series on HBO, which was really good too. At least what I watched of it.
Well, for me, the first season was good. It kind of like, I don't know, it got crazy after
got
that.
Off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like? I can't remember if it was on Cinemax or
HBO.
HBO or whatever. HBO. Yeah, it was on HBO. Yeah, the HBO-isms started kicking in. Oh my gosh, Blazing Saddles came out in 74. Wow.
Oh shit! Yes, that's a great Mel Brooks film, along with Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
Came out in the 70s? I thought they came out in the 80s.
No, Young Frankenstein is 70s. I'm like 99% sure.
All right. Yeah.
74.
Frankenstein, the one.
74.
Yeah, Frankenstein. Yeah, I love Young Frankenstein. I like it better than Blazing Saddles personally, but it's also the first Mel Brooks film I really watched too. So
yeah, same for me.
Yeah. So it's not really a fair comparison, a fair battle.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Although
I do love Blazing Saddles as well. That one's funny, but it's funny in a different way. Though it's not a film you could make today. You couldn't make Blazing Saddles today.
No.
It'd be torn apart.
One of my favorite scenes from Blazing Saddle is when hold on, I don't want to say anything inappropriate. I mean, unintentionally. Yeah. Hold on. Give me a second.
Yeah. There are a lot of scenes in Blazing Saddles you shouldn't utter out loud. I'm not going to lie. It's not a film that would fly today at all. Even though I do love the film, but...
all right, so...
It's not my favorite Mel Brooks, far. Go ahead.
So Cleveland Little, he played Bart. He is the African American lead. And Gene Wilder. I like the part where they're dressed as KKK guys and they're trying to like get into something. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Oh yeah, they stuck it to like the rally or whatever.
Yeah, and I like how Bart accidentally like shows his hand, and of course he's African American.
Yeah,
wearing a Ku Klux Klan robe, so it's, and I like how Gene, his character Jim, how he's like really quick-witted, and he's like, "Oh no, that's just her. You see, it's coming right off."
My favorite is this part where he's like Gene's like talking to him, you know, try to like console him,
yeah,
you know, because like everybody hates him because he's black, you know, he's all racist assholes,
yeah,
and he's like, "This is the backbone of America, you know, the hard-working class people, you know."
Fucking idiots.
Morons.
Yeah.
Morons. They're morons. That's who they are. They're fucking morons. That's why they're the way they are.
Oh,
And I love because he cracks up, of course, in the scene. But
that was real life.
Yeah, that was real life. The actor just genuinely cracked up. And like, I love that they kept that.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite scene of the film by far. It's just like, you know,
morons.
And they're all fucking idiots.
Yeah, it's so good.
But oh my gosh, Monty Python and the Quest for Holy Grail. That was 75.
Yeah,
I love that one too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a really good one. I still love that one. That's the film that kind of sets the standard for my humor, I think. I think that's my favorite style of humor. It's just like the nonsensical, like what the heck? Like it's so crazy that nothing makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of why like, you know, I like Family Guy in its early days. It just had like that silly like what? You know, kind of like where did that come from kind of thing where it just catches you off guard with how silly it is. You know, when they deal with the French people and they launch a cow at them. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Run away! Run away! They don't say retreat, they say run away.
Yeah. I think my favorite part is that when he's fighting the knight and he's like, he chops his arm off and he keeps going, and he has like no arms and he's like still willing to fight. It's like, bro,
it's just a flesh wound.
You have no arms.
You are beaten, Sir Knight. Come on, I'll bite your knees off, something like that.
Yeah.
We'll
all right.
the draw.
Yeah.
The rabbit, the beast. I love that thing.
Oh man. All right, let's move on to 80s.
80s.
That
was a little bit easier because there's quite a few 80s films I like.
I have a lot,
but I want to make sure because there's some films that probably kind of hit that crossover point where they came out in the 70s technically, but they're really in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I'm not being dumb. There's a lot of good films in the 80s. I think the 80s was like one of the golden ages of film. I'm not gonna lie. There's just so many good films in the 80s.
I agree. I have a lot of them.
A lot of good ones.
I'll let you go first.
I recognize here. Favorites in the 80s. That's hard. I'm gonna try to. One of the rules I'm gonna go by are films that I actually watched growing up, not films I watched later. Because I'm seeing some films that apparently came out in the 80s, but almost definitely I did not see growing up. Even though I wasn't born in the 80s, I was born in 92.
Mm-hmm.
But like you, we have the same birthday. Ironically, that's complete coincidence that we had the same birthday. But
I know.
Either way, though you weren't you born in 93? Or were you born in 92?
No, 93. November 9, 93.
Yeah, you're 1 year younger than me, technically. Or exactly, I guess. Not technically. You're technically 1 year younger than me by exactly 1 year.
Ooh.
Ooh. My gosh, there's so many good films. Legend came out in 80. Labyrinth came out. Willow. My gosh, I forgot about Willow. I remember I watched that shit out of that film. I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting nostalgia, just flashbacks of seeing all the films I've seen.
No,
Predator came out.
that's what all this is about.
Aliens. Of course, Star Wars. Then there's a lot of good films here. This is going to be very hard. I can definitely say one of my favorite animated films that came out around that time was probably The Great Mouse Detective. I remember I watched the crap out of that as a kid. That was one of my favorite films growing up, The Great Mouse Detective, which is basically Sherlock Holmes as a mouse. But it's not Sherlock Holmes because he lives in the house of Sherlock Holmes. So that's a really good one. The Thing. There's too many good films here. There's way too many great films.
I love The Thing.
Way too many. Oh my gosh, Oliver and Company, All Dogs Go to Heaven. Too many. Secret of Nim. Secret of Nim. Hands down, Secret of Nim.
Secret of Nim.
Secret of Nim. That's the Mel Brooks film. I forgot about that one. I forgot that came out in the 80s, but yeah. Secret of Nim, 1982. A beautiful film. That is one of the best films. That's like one of my top films of all time, so it has to be one of my top 80s films, period. American Tail's really good too, but I think Secret of Nim beats it.
All right, Secret of Nim.
Secret of Nim.
All right, I have a lot, and I did see these when I was young. My parents didn't give a shit. That they knew that I could, movies are movies, reality's reality. All right, you ready?
All right.
Batman, 89.
All right.
The Shining, 80.
Okay.
Short Circuit, 86.
All right.
Scarface, 83.
Scarface is good. I do enjoy that one.
Full Metal Jacket, 87.
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Lagoon, 80.
I don't think I've seen Blue Lagoon. Not gonna lie.
It's good. Cujo, 83. Poltergeist, 82.
Oh yeah, that's classic.
One of my all-time favorites, RoboCop, 87.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The Thing.
I saw your figure. Yeah, The Thing. That's a big one.
Yes.
That's a big one.
82. Little piece of trivia. Rob Bottin, who did the effects for The Thing, did the effects for RoboCop.
Heck yeah.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit, 88.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a really good one too. That's high on my list, personally. Not gonna lie.
Love that one. Nightmare on Elm Street, 84.
Mm-hmm.
Predator, 87. The Terminator, 84.
Yeah.
Weekend at Bernie's, 89.
Mm-hmm.
Friday the 13th, 80. Yeah, and I saw these as a kid.
Yeah, I saw a few of these when I was younger, but not all of them. A lot of them I saw when I was older, when I was more interested in older films.
Yeah.
Compared to when I was younger.
Beetlejuice, 88.
Mm-hmm. I need to see that one again. It's been so long since I've seen that film.
So good.
Yeah.
Aliens, 86.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to end it with Blade Runner, 82.
We did an all-star cast. So between all of those, which was your number one?
Damn, fuck. I haven't even named all the ones that I've seen in that either. Fuck. All right, let's see. 80s. Let me look through these again. It's gonna have to be RoboCop because Paul Verhoeven. Well, it's a tie between Batman and RoboCop because I like Paul Verhoeven. He's one of my favorite directors. So
I
RoboCop
have
and
seen
Batman.
Short Circuit. It's been a long time since I've seen Short Circuit, but I remember that one now.
It's a good one. Both of them are
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Yeah, yeah. For me, like I said, easily Secret and M. That's one of the top ones. But there's some big ones. I love The Outsiders, Labyrinth. I love. Gotta love David Bowie. Yeah. Legend with Tim Curry. You know, Pantsless. What's his name? Um, Tom Cruise. Whole film. You think he's gonna get the legendary armor? Nope, no pants. Still no pants. The whole time, no pants. I still love it because Tim Curry's amazing. Uh, Tim Curry's just a national treasure. Uh, Willow, that's a big one from when I was a kid. My gosh, there's just so many. So freaking many. I could go on forever too. Also love heavy metal. I didn't watch that one when I was younger, but heavy metal, that's a very interesting collection anthology type film that is technically not a great film by any means, but it's fun for what it is. Lots of great animation to display in that film. But yeah, there's just so many great ones that came out. Fox and the Hound, All Dogs Go to Heaven, Oliver and Company, Land Before Time. I forgot that came out too. I didn't even see that. Land Before Time. Oh, that's why you gotta do this to me, 80s. Why the 80s just gotta be good? They had Gremlins. My gosh. Life of Brian also came out around that time. Never Ending Story. The Last Unicorn. Oh my gosh, I love that film too. You can see where I kind of I kind of fall under. I'm like all animated classics at this point. I'm a freaking kid. Yeah, a Goofy movie, Beauty and the Beast.
Goofy movie.
Damn, Toy Story 2 came out in '99. It just hits the '90s barely. Same thing with
Mm-hmm.
Aladdin. Aladdin, or it was '92, but when I was born, but still, uh, kind of surprising. So many, pretty much all of my favorite animated films when I was a kid, all '90s. Muppet Treasure Island. Oh, that hits a soft spot in my heart. It has Muppets, has Tim Curry, everything. What else I gotta say? It's almost a perfect movie. Right there. Hook. Oh my gosh, Hook. I
Hook
watched
is a
that
good
so
one.
many times. That's such a good one. I think it's on Netflix right now too, so I'm gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
watch it again.
I think my
Um,
favorite thing from Hook is Dustin Hoffman as Hook.
yeah,
He's
it's
amazing.
it's it's great. Um, let's see, Pulp Fiction, amazing
Oh,
film from
that's
the
a good one.
'90s.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one. That's high up there for me.
Quentin
Um,
Tarantino, another one of my favorite directors, top 3.
Iron Giant,
Mm.
one of the best films. That's it. The Iron Giant is contender for one of my top animated films of all time,
Mm.
as well. It's another contender. It's an amazing film. Highly recommend it if you have not seen it. Um, Prince of Egypt even came out then, too, and I love it. '98. Didn't realize that came out in '98, but I love that film. That's such a beautiful movie. Such a beautiful movie. Art direction, just the style, the scope. It just feels big. I love films that make you feel big.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Page Master. That's such a. I love that film. I watched that one so many times because I always read it for the movie store. Page Master.
Mm.
Uh, is I believe it's Macaulay Culkin as the main character, and he gets turned into a cartoon, and he's like in the library trying to find the exit, and it's like literally a giant exit sign. It's pretty corny, and it's probably not one of the best films that came out during that time. But I do have a soft spot for that film, for sure. We're Back. That's one of those films I don't like as much as I used to. We're Back. Though I do still love it. I like terrible movies sometimes. Fifth Element, my gosh,
Oh,
that's such a good one. That's such a good one as well.
I love it just because of the look. Such a great look to that movie.
Oh yeah, the aesthetic is amazing.
Yeah.
Um, I think if I had to pick top three, I guess, probably Hunchback, Iron Giant for sure. I feel bad to put it all like animated films, but I just love the animated films so much. I think Beauty and the Beast also takes it too. That's also a really damn good one. Um, it's hard for me to break off from it because the other films I love for different reasons, but I don't know. I'm a sucker for just good animation, and I've just accepted my fate forever be stuck in 2D/3D world
Yeah.
of stuff. Oh my gosh, Toy Soldiers came out. Small Soldiers came out during that time too.
Oh, I love
Now,
Small Soldiers.
it's a movie that I don't love as much as I used to, but my gosh, it's so good. And of course, Mars Attacks is a great one. That was so silly. Austin
Mm-hmm.
Powers 1 and 2 came out during that time.
Ah, those are good too.
90s had some good films. It's weird because there were some like really amazingly terrible films during that time,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also some amazingly great films during that time. I don't think it was nearly as dark of a time for film as people make it out to be.
No, for sure
'Cause
no.
especially because I went ahead and looked up the list too, just to make sure I know which ones I'm talking about in the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's some good ones in here. There's some pretty terrible ones though. Like the, the remake Godzilla, which I used to love. I'm not gonna lie, as a kid, and I fully acknowledge it's terrible. It's not worth watching. It's so terrible. The person who made Godzilla came back out of retirement, got the licensing for it, called it Zilla, put it in his new film just to have it killed off in 2 seconds by the actual Godzilla. He literally did that. Like, he went out of his way, like, I'm going to murder this piece of crap. How dare this exist? I think number four would be a Goofy movie. That movie is way better than it has any right to be, and I
It's
love
good.
it for it.
I love
It's a
that one.
really good one. Yeah.
All right.
Are we gonna do the 2000s?
Nope, because it's
Nope.
too big a category. We're just gonna skip that.
Too big, too large. There's a large amount of films that
Yeah.
we know in that frame.
All right, we're gonna go with favorite foreign movie.
Ooh, it's been a
Mm-hmm.
while since I've seen some good foreign films. What was the film I saw that I really enjoyed? Um, I did like Slumdog Millionaire. I remember when I watched it, and I think that counts because it's a Bollywood film.
Okay.
That was a really good one. And gosh, what was it? It was a Japanese film, and I can't remember what the name was off the top of my head. But I really liked it too.
Mm.
Seeing if I can like remember it off the top of my head by just typing in foreign films, which that's not giving me foreign films, it's giving me American films that are just set in Japan instead. Thank you, Google. That really helps me. uh, thank you so much. Dang it. I mean, I could cheat and just use a Studio Ghibli film because that's technically a foreign film, but I don't want to cheat. um, gosh, what was it called? Oh, it's gonna kill me now. I did like Juno, the original like Grudge movie,
Mm-hmm.
because I did see it a while back. That's one of my favorite horror films because I like the original Grudge because it messed with me so much. I'm like, you got a special spot in my heart for effing with me for a very large portion of my life to where I was terrified to be alone in a room by myself. That movie messed me up.
Yeah, mine was The Exorcist.
Yeah. I
It's
can't
not.
remember. It'll take me a bit to maybe try to find it, but I'm trying to remember because it's a little bit more obscure. It wasn't it wasn't a big film, but I loved it personally,
Hmm.
and I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head, and it's killing me now because now I haven't seen it in probably 15 years now.
Yeah. Well, I guess I have mine ready to go. Two are by Paul Verhoeven because he comes from the Netherlands and he made movies there before he came to America and made RoboCop and Total Recall and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They are Soldier of Orange,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a more recent one, Black Book. Those are the two by
Black Book.
him. They're both World War II movies, but
Yeah.
so good. They're both really good. And this one is from Spain with Antonio Banderas.
Mm-hmm.
The Skin I Live In.
Oh, nice.
Hmm.
Uh,
And then a fourth one is Das Boot. It's a German movie about these guys who are trapped in a submarine. I put that as
hmm.
4 because I've only seen it once because it is like 4 hours long.
My gosh, that is a very long film.
Yeah, and it's like pretty much like 99% of it, these men trapped inside of a submarine. It's good, but it is
Yeah.
long.
uh, my gosh, I am not finding this film. And it's killing me. I wish I knew what it was called. Because I could easily cheat and just use like an anime or something like that. Like I said, like almost any Studio Ghibli film is amazing for the
Hmm.
most part. Except for the most recent one. The most recent one was kind of meh. But and of course like Godzilla, Shin Godzilla or something like that.
Hmm.
You could always do that. Though to be fair, well, I loved Godzilla as a kid. I'm not sure if I would I love it as much. I think I just love the kaiju genre more than anything else. I think is what it is. It's not necessarily a particular film, though. The original, I think, is a masterpiece. Personally,
Hmm.
um, as we kind of get onto the series for that one, it's less impressive. But this one was. Uh, this is a problem when you fall in love with a more obscure film. You have to try to remember it, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. I remember I loved it. I watched it a lot of times when I was younger too, but I cannot remember what the heck it was called. What was the name? It's one of those kind of like names that are pretty similar. Um, I don't know. Another one I do know I did like was Kung Fu Hustle. That's a good one. Um, that's a really fun. It's a pretty good, funny movie. Um, and then from there, at least for comedies, like kind of the off kilter type comedy. And then I also liked more recently. This is a very recent film, but like Parasite or whatever it was called. I can't
Yeah,
remember if it's called
Parasite.
just Parasite.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
Parasite.
Parasite.
That was a really good one. Which I thought it was actually a adaptation of another like anime, but no, it's like a Chinese film. And it's
Yeah,
just
no,
called Parasite. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I
not
think,
based off the anime.
yeah, no, they're both called Parasite, but they're two different things.
Yeah, they're two very different things.
Yeah.
But it was really good too, and that hits pretty high up my list too. I like the symbolism in that film. A lot of the cinematography. It's a really good one, but I'm not sure if it's cooked or stewed with me long enough to be like a goat yet or not. But it's high up there. To be fair, other foreign films I've seen, obviously most of mine have been kind of Asian
Hmm.
films. I've seen a handful of films that aren't that. I remember I think it's an Italian film. which like the father trying to protect his son
Oh
from
my
like the
God, the
horrors of
Holocaust. It is a beautiful movie. It's called Life is
yeah that
Beautiful. Ah,
yeah
such a good
that
movie.
one I remember
You,
now.
you know what's funny? I was just about to mention that.
Yeah.
That's why I have like the name like perfectly in my head. I was just about to mention that is a great movie.
Oh my gosh, I know one that is really good. Ip Man. That's such an awesome like kung fu action film.
It Man.
Uh, yeah, Ip Man, the
It.
IP Man.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that one's really good. I know it has like sequels. I don't know how good the sequels are, but the first
Hmm.
one is amazing. That's a great one too.
Hmm.
If you want a good kung fu action film, because it's Ip Man's actually like Bruce Lee's trainer, or the guy who trained Bruce Lee
Hmm.
IRL. And it's kind of like the legend of him. I'm not sure if it's actually based on facts or not, but either way, the movie itself is just awesome. It's just an awesome film with great fight choreography. Amazing. I love it. That's one I could easily say is one of my favorites of the foreign variety because it's absolutely a foreign film. There's no English in it or anything like that.
Hmm. All right.
Um, yeah.
Mm,
Mm, uh,
well,
Shama.
we kind of already. I was gonna say like favorite animated movie, but we kind of already talked about it, sort of, with the.
uh, it is hard because it kind of depends on what context we're talking about.
Hmm.
Like my favorite Disney animated film would be like Hunchback, but like if we're going to like of all time, it's hard. It'd probably still be a 2D animated film to be fair.
Hmm.
Um, though I will say one film. What? Oh, I got an idea.
Okay.
What's a film you've seen like more recently
Hmm.
that you like more now than when you did the first time you saw it? Because I have a film that I saw actually just the other day that, like, when I first saw it, I didn't really like it, and I saw it the other day, and I actually kind of love it now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You go first.
For me, it was a film called Rango, which a lot of people seem to love. As I looked it up, because I decided to see what other people thought of the film.
Is that
Now,
the Johnny Depp lizard one?
yes, that's the
Okay.
one.
Okay.
And it was like by Nickelodeon, but it's like it's not really a kids film. It's
Hmm.
like it's not like super adult, but it's definitely kind of got an adult vibe to it. And I saw it when I was like a teenager, like an older teen with my mom at the theater.
Hmm.
And I didn't hate the film back in the day, but I don't know. I guess I was expecting, I guess, something more standard at the time. And when I saw it, it was just, I guess the jokes didn't hit very well, and I think the art aesthetic didn't like impress me that much.
Hmm.
But I saw it more recently, and my gosh, not only do I think that film is a beautiful film, like I still think the film looks kind of like dirty and ugly and gritty in a way, but it's how it's like purposely gritty and ugly. Like it's a animated western for sure. It's like a western, which we don't get a lot of nowadays anymore.
Hmm.
Like a modern western, and I don't know. I love the characters. I like the jokes. I like the aesthetic now a lot more. I find a better appreciation for just what they were going for, and it looks amazing. Like for a film that came out like in 2011, I think is when it came out. I want to say like 2011, 2012.
Hmm.
When did Rango come out? I'm pretty sure it came out 2011. Maybe it came out later than that. Maybe it's 2013. No, 2011. Um, it looks amazing. It looks like way better than a lot of films nowadays. Like the light, the particle effects, the like the fur physics because of all the animal, like the animals, the anthropomorphic animals and all that.
Hmm.
It looks amazing. The characters hit a lot better now. They're a lot more charming to me than what they were before, and the humor hits better now too. It's kind of a drier. sense of humor than like a lot of the films at the time, which were a lot more, I guess, kind of hit the more low hanging fruit of humor. You know, I think around that time we had stuff like Despicable Me coming out, or pretty
Mm-hmm.
close to that time.
Yeah.
Which I like Despicable Me. I like the first one. I think it kind of got a little bit tried. Illumination and Entertainment kind of is ran out of their goodwill because they
Yeah.
just kind of keep putting out the same kinds of films. I don't
Yeah.
hate them. They're
Yeah.
technically good, but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna add to that. Yeah, they kind of released Despicable Me and kind of like ran with it. I mean, even their mascot is the fucking minion. Like
Yeah,
they like hung on to that a little too much.
yeah.
Kind of like what
And I like.
oh sorry. Kind of like what
Oh, go ahead.
DreamWorks
Yeah, go ahead.
kind of like what DreamWorks did with like Shrek for a time and then I guess more recently like with Ice Age.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um, but you know, it was around that time. You know, kind of in that era of 3D animation, which we're still not really out of. Um, it's like it's still there, but I think some of the films are like surprisingly good. Like I think we had the Lego Movie, which I've yet to see the Lego Movie. I haven't had a chance to see
Oh.
that one yet. I want to see that one. That's so high on my list, and it's never. I think it was on Netflix for a while, but I didn't have Netflix. And now that I have Netflix, it's not on there, and I'm really annoyed and upset, and I
I
want to see it.
I haven't seen the Lego movie, but I saw Lego Batman and I loved the shit out of that. That was
Yeah,
good.
but for gosh, I'm trying to think. Yeah, but either way, back like the Rango. Rango is definitely a film that because I watched it literally a few days ago, and it's a lot more charming and special to me now than it was when it originally came out, and I love it. I also love the villain. I'm a sucker for a good villain,
Hmm.
and the villain is amazing. Like he's not there for very long. I really wish he was there for longer because I love a great villain. There's like two villains in the film, I guess, but one's way better than the other. And you'll know who it is if you've seen it. Yeah, Rattlesnake Jake. Oh my gosh, he's amazing. Uh, so I've rattled on for a while. Do you have any on your list? Any ideas?
Yeah, that I saw recently. So I don't know if you know or anybody watching. This is kind of an old. I don't even know if they do this anymore. But back then, when I had, I don't even think I don't know, cable or just old timey TV. It was on like a tube
Yeah.
TV. They had this channel called Turner Classic Movies where they would play old movies unedited from beginning to end, no commercials.
Mm.
That's where I saw Psycho. And they were advertising a movie, which I saw, which was Roman Polanski starring Mia Farrow, Rosemary's Baby.
Oh yeah.
I saw it when I was young and I thought it was long, boring. I didn't really like it. And they had it
Yeah.
on sale for $1 on Vudu. I bought it, I think 4K version, and I saw it recently, and I love that movie. It is so good.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great
What's
movie.
what's special about it? Because I don't think I know that film. I'm gonna be honest.
I'll give you a quick synopsis. So this couple moves into an apartment
Yeah.
and they're trying to have a kid and there's like this old couple some lady dies and there's this old couple and the lady was staying with the old couple and then the main characters they meet the old people and they kind of become friends. Like the old people are kind of like meddling and whatever, and they become friends. And they like give the lady gifts and stuff, specifically a necklace. And then the main character, Rosemary, starts to experience like odd things. And then she has a hard time getting pregnant. but then all of a sudden she gets pregnant, and the way it happens is like this like dreamy thing. There's like a demon or something that impregnates her, but she thinks it's like a dream, and it's like kind of crazy. And I mean, this is an old movie too. It's from 68.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's really crazy, and the pregnancy is like moving fast, and she's like noticing like there's like all this weird stuff with these old people. They're not as like sweet or whatever. There's like something malevolent, right? That's how you say that, malevolent
Yeah.
with
Something
them.
along those lines.
Yeah, and
My English isn't so good.
and anyway, sorry if you haven't seen it, but it turns out that the old people are part of a cult who want to bring the Antichrist, and they've used Rosemary to bring the Antichrist. And the end of the movie, yeah, ends with she gives birth to the Antichrist, and she can't find the will to kill it, so she ends up doing what the cult wants, which is essentially to raise the baby, and that's how it ends. She like yeah, she goes to kill it, and it like starts like crying, and she can't do it, so she does what the cult wants. She ends up raising it.
Well, you got to keep the Antichrist safe. La 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 la.
But yeah, that one's mine.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. I'm sorry, as soon as you mentioned that plot, I'm like, oh gosh, South Park. I just instantly think of Cartman's Critters. When you mentioned pregnant with the Antichrist, I'm like, oh god, I'm bad.
Who knows? Maybe they got it from that. I don't know.
Probably, if we're being honest.
All right. Favorite sci-fi movie?
Honestly, that one's not quite as hard. That's like a toss-up between like actual sci-fi. You know, I distinguish between sci-fi and science fantasy. So like Star Wars would be out for this one, because that's science fantasy.
I agree.
I'm
with you.
Probably, it'd probably be Alien or Aliens. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty basic on that front. Also, though I do really love like 2001: A Space Odyssey. That's a really good one too.
That's mine. Stanley Kubrick again.
That's a really good one. I kind of like the ones that make you think in a way, but I think Alien does make you think. That's kind of the brilliance of it, I think. But Aliens is less so, but it's just a fun action romp, so I think it gets knocked down lower for me. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like toss up between the horror movie or the, 2001, which I guess is kind of a horror movie too. It's a suspense movie. It's really tense.
For me, it's definitely 2001. Not just because Stanley Kubrick, as I've mentioned, my all-time favorite director. The fact that it came out in 1968, before they even knew what the Earth looked like from space. That's crazy. And when they show, Earth, it is like pretty accurate. I also love how Stanley was very adamant about being faithful. Like, yeah, there's aliens, there's an AI robot on the ship, there's a bunch of like horseshit, not real stuff. But everything was made to be as real as possible. And
it all has a logic to it. Like there's an actual logic that makes sense in a sort of theoretical way.
Like even when like Floyd is taking the trip from Earth to the moon, and he's reading the zero gravity toilet instructions, those are real instructions that you can't even read in the movie. They're real instructions. They're long, but like they came up with instructions for a fucking toilet that you don't see, and you can't even read the instructions. The fact that and I guess it's because I like 2001 so much. It always annoyed me. I mean, not really with aliens because it makes sense, but for
Yeah.
space movies, in space there is no sound, right?
Yeah.
Yet you always hear the ships traveling through space and all this, and I like the fact that Stanley was really inventive with how he put sound in space.
Yeah.
There is none. The only thing that you hear is the astronaut breathing. Besides that,
Mm-hmm.
there is zero sound. And it's like that's like a great way to like be realistic, but not have nothing, dead air. His I mean the classical music that he put in there, I mean, it's when you're looking at the rotating ship, I mean that's become a classic. Anything that's like in space, people love using that.
Oh
Uh
yeah, yeah.
that music, and with the dawn of man as well. Uh I don't know. I love that movie. It's great.
It is a really good one. It's a very high up there one.
Mhm.
Mm. I feel like sci-fi is in one of those weird areas too. It's kind of hard to pick a favorite
Mhm.
because it's kind of like, what do you want to do with the sci-fi? Because a lot of stuff counts as sci-fi
Mhm.
technically, if you want to get like technical about it. Because like technically, Star Wars is sci-fi, even though it's not really sci-fi. I think.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think 2001 is just one of those goats that just kind of wins. As I mentioned, I'm not a super film buff. I
Mhm.
do like films, and obviously, there are definitely films I love to watch that are beyond the norm, I guess. But I'm not a super film buff for sure, so I can't say like there's some special film that I know that nobody else knows. Um, that's totally worth watching. It's like, there's different ones
Mhm.
out there, I'm sure, but I'm pretty basic on that front. But I think 2001 is just one of those films. Just like it's kind of hard to beat it.
Mhm. I agree.
It's one of those ones like there might be something somebody prefers, but because it is a little bit of a slow burn, it's kind of a slow film. But
It
I'm a
is.
I I like slow films. I don't know. I kind of like slower films. A lot of my favorite horror films tend to be slower burn. Um, I don't know. I like it when a movie takes its time to build itself up. As long as it builds itself up to something. If
Mhm.
it takes its whole time building up to something and then under delivers, it sucks.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like movies that kind of take their time to build up a world, and you like, okay, all of a sudden, like you reach that point in the film where you're like, wait, when have I become invested? because because you realize you're invested in what's happening. You're like, oh gosh, stuff's really happening right now. Um,
Yeah. 2001.
2001, baby.
Love it. And the sequel is actually not as bad. It's not um it is a sequel to Stanley's movie, but you definitely can't go in with the thought of it's a Stanley Kubrick movie because it's not. It's its own thing. And
Yeah, yeah.
I like that about it, but I think it's also very good. A lot of people knock it down because, oh, it's 2001 and it's Stanley Kubrick, but it's like it's a good movie in its own right. It is a good movie.
Hmm.
It doesn't
I
deserve
feel
to be
like
knocked down.
people do that with a few films. It's kind of weird because like there's the first Predator movie,
Oh
and then
yeah.
there's the second one,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually like the second one more than the first film. Even though I like the first film,
Mm-hmm.
and I get why people like the first film more. I don't know. I think the second film was more inventive with the idea of the Predator, with it being an like I guess it's because there were a lot of films that were set in like the L.A. gang wars and all that stuff, and there's all this super hyper violence going on because
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of was the trend with a lot of action films at the time. But I'm not gonna lie, like it was kind of cool seeing the Predator like hunting in the concrete jungle, and you had like not a super, badass special forces guy fighting the Predator, but like a little bit more of an average Joe
Mm-hmm.
cop dealing with them. and having to fight him, and that, you know, there's a little bit more going on beyond just what is this thing. You know, there are other people who knew what this thing was, and, you know, hunting the hunter and all that stuff. It was, I don't know, a lot more interesting of a film overall, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has its goofy moments, don't get me wrong, but I kind of like the second Predator movie more than the first, not gonna lie. Um, though I would say that about like the sequel to Space Odyssey, which I don't think I've actually seen the sequel to that one. But
It it's good. It's 2010. What is it? It's definitely 2010. Hold on, give me 1 second.
oh yeah, I think I
The
remember
year
that
we made
one coming
contact.
out. Yeah, yeah. I think I vaguely remember that coming out.
It has is it Roy Scheider? The sheriff from Jaws. Yeah, I have two movies that I think are I don't want to say underrated because that word is like used a lot, but like not as appreciated. Um
Yeah.
I think everybody always says that the best Terminator is the second Terminator. I personally think the first one is the better one. I like the fact that it like mixed sci-fi, romance, horror, action.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's just me. I mean, not to take anything away from the second one. It's a great movie, but I think the first one kind of
How
gets shit on.
dare you? I'm joking. um, you know, it's funny because I saw the second one first. Like I think a lot of people have,
Mhm.
because the second one's the one that everybody talks about. You
Mhm.
know, it's the one with all the iconic scenes. It's the one that everybody always thinks about when you think Terminator. You think the second film,
Mhm.
but when I saw the first film, one, I was genuinely surprised at how different it was from the second film.
Mhm.
But it's a lot more tense of a film. It's a very different concept for the film, and you know, honestly, it's kind of weird when you look at the first film and you see the second film. It's like, why did they do that with the second film? It's kind
Yeah,
of how I actually look at it.
I
Like,
I
the
agree.
second film is so different from the first
Mhm.
film that, as a sequel, while I do think the second film was a great film, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those cases of like, I have to say, like, it's kind of jarring. It's
Mhm.
kind of weird to see that they took the first film and went that direction with it. But I guess in some ways you can kind of look at it kind of like how Aliens versus Alien. But the difference between those two, like Alien and Aliens, kind of makes more sense than like Terminator 1 to Terminator 2. Um, and I can definitely see why you would like Terminator. You could like Terminator 1 over Terminator 2 because they're so different.
Mhm.
Like there's so little like in comparison, where Alien like makes more sense in the context of what's happened in the film,
Yeah.
between the two films. Because like the first film, it's literally just a crew of people, versus the second film where it's like, okay, we actually have a hardened, you know, badasses coming into the ship and or the colony, and like they're a little bit more prepared to deal with stuff. They're not prepared enough, obviously, but they're more prepared. Like a single alien isn't really a big deal to them.
No,
Um,
no, and specifically for Alien to Aliens. Oh, and a little side note, by the way, Aliens and the two Terminators, James Cameron, same guy.
yeah,
But yeah, I think I agree with you. I think the shift from Alien to Aliens also makes sense because there's a time shift. She's been stuck in
hmm
space for all that time, so you don't feel like, wait a minute, like all the technology seems different. It's like a different vibe. It makes sense. I mean, a lot of time has passed. Whereas with like, yeah, from Terminator 1 to Terminator 2, not a lot of time has really passed, and just the over like Terminator 2 is more like action with some sci-fi, whereas the first one I feel was like is a lot of things in one. And just the fact that in the first one it's literally two humans against this unstoppable machine, whereas in the second
yeah,
one they have an unstoppable machine against an unstoppable machine. So, I mean, yeah, the other one is better, but it's like more fairish compared to the first one, where you're like, I feel there's more suspense in the first one because I mean they're humans. It's a
Yeah, the
robot.
first one I think is a better concept in a
Mm-hmm.
way. The other one feels like I don't know. It's just interesting because the best way. I try to think of a good way to put it, but it just doesn't feel like a sequel to Terminator. That's what it is. It
Yeah,
feels like almost like the kids' version of Terminator,
yeah. I mean,
the
I
child-friendly
agree with that.
version of Terminator.
I can agree with that absolutely.
Because
Again,
like, who wouldn't want like to have an awesome robot buddy slave dude
yeah.
that can kick ass and blow stuff up and shoot guns, and his whole objective is just to protect your sorry little dumbass.
And again, we're not taking anything away from Terminator 2. It's a great movie, but when you're comparing it to the first one, what started
Yeah.
yeah, the shift is just like really
It just has a
huge.
weird dynamic. It's an odd dynamic, but they're good for their own reasons. I can't take away from the second film either.
No,
But
yeah.
as a sequel, it's a very odd choice for a sequel, even though it's obviously it worked out. It panned out very well.
Mhm.
Made an entire franchise that has yet to live up to the hype of the first film or the second film.
Mhm.
An any iteration.
Okay, yeah, never mind. They're both wow, that is strange. Yeah, they're actually both rated R, Terminator 1 and 2, which I always thought Terminator 2 was rated PG-13.
It kind of feels like it should be a PG-13 film, but it does have some gory moments and some pretty brutal moments too.
Yeah, but I feel like not well, I don't know. The rating system. Let's not get into that cuz that's a whole fucking topic. I think the rating system is the dumbest thing in movies. It's literally a bunch of fucking random people who can just determine the rating of your movie. It's stupid, but yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like the ESRB for games.
Yeah,
It's
it's
pretty random when they're willing to rate something. Like there's some games that get rated T for teen, and it's like use of alcohol. And
yeah,
there's like one character in the entire thing, and it's never explicitly stated that it's alcohol. But then you get other games that somehow get like rated E for everyone, and like how did that get E for everyone?
yeah. It's horseshit, and it's like a whole connection
It's a
to yeah. Well,
yeah,
it,
it's a ton of dumb stuff. It's just dumb stuff.
we could literally make a whole podcast about it of how stupid it is. Um,
Stay tuned.
maybe future episode, maybe.
Maybe. Hey, beginnings, small beginnings, eh?
The last movie that I want to talk about in relation to that's not as appreciated as I think it should be is Halloween 3. I don't
Oh
know if
yeah.
you've seen it, Season of the Witch.
I don't think I've seen it. No, I haven't seen all the Halloween films yet. I've seen like the first one a long time ago, but and I think I've seen the second,
Um,
and I can't remember all the ones I've seen. I've seen some of the like the newer ones, like the Rob Zombie one or whatever.
it
But
none of those matter. Watch it. It's a standalone film.
okay,
I think had they taken the Halloween 3 part out, it would have done it's a really good movie. So
yeah,
the idea was John Carpenter. He did the music and co-wrote, well, mostly wrote the first one with his girlfriend at the time,
oh
Deborah
yeah,
Hill. So they made Halloween, right? And it was supposed to be, an independent film made really, really cheap. I mean, the actors were part of the crew. All this, they were just making a movie. It's just these people wanted to make a movie. They made it, done, end of story, right?
yeah.
Becomes a massive hit, and of course, when a studio sees a massive hit, what do they want?
Sequel.
A sequel. John Carpenter did not want to direct, write, have anything to do with a sequel, but they gave him a shit ton of money, So he got really drunk and he wrote a sequel. All right. And he made it to where it's the end. They killed Michael Myers. So his
Yeah.
idea was to make Halloween an anthology series. So each sequel would be its own contained story that takes place on Halloween. And
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
right, and Halloween 3 was supposed to be the next story set in Halloween, where it's this evil company who makes these masks. They're part of a cult. The kids put on the masks. They become sacrifices when this thing on the TV plays. It activates the masks. The kids die. They get sacrificed. It's a
Yeah.
really good movie. But people wanted Michael Myers, and the movie got shit on and it tanked. And I
Dang.
think that's unfair. It's a really good movie. And I thought the concept would have been great had they pulled it off. I mean, I love all the Halloween movies, but oh well.
Yeah, I wish we had more anthology-esque type films. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna lie. Um, one I really love, that is an anthology movie itself. That's Halloween themed is Trick or Treat.
Mm-hmm.
I love that film. That is an amazing Halloween movie. And I love how it's kind of an anthology of stories kind of comprised into one movie. And I'd like to see, obviously that was like kind of like the idea was a series. Yeah, as a series would be an anthology of the film. So
Mm-hmm.
you have Michael Myers and then you had the other one. And I
Yeah.
kind of wish there were like more films would be willing to do that. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's nice seeing a franchise, but there's so many franchises out there. They
Mm-hmm.
follow this continuous narrative. It's like, why don't we just have tidbit type stories? What happened to the short story? I don't know. Maybe it's a silly idea, but like having movies kind of like set in the same universe, but they're not really tied together.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a little bit of that MCU action, but like not actually do what the MCU's doing because you can't beat them at their own game
Yeah.
at this point. It'd be kind of cool just seeing that, and not just with horror, but I think horror would be a good example of doing that.
I mean, that
Um,
that was literally John Carpenter's thinking. He was like, there's not much you could do with Michael Myers. He's a slasher killer, and at a certain point, you're gonna be telling the same fucking story over and over again. So why not take
yeah,
the concept? I mean, it's broad. It's Halloween. Anything can happen on Halloween. Let's not tell the same damn story every time. Why not have a different story that happens on Halloween? Because you can make a shit ton of movies and they'd be fresh and different. But in this case, the studio was right and people didn't give a shit about it. They just wanted more Michael Myers. I thought he was ahead of the
yeah,
curve. That would have been great.
yeah. Michael, still around
Mm-hmm.
on occasion. Still hasn't had a movie that quite lived up to the original, which probably never will because it's such a simple concept. Same thing with like Jason.
Yeah.
Jason, it's been years. Freddy Krueger. They're kind of the time of the spotlight's been gone for a while now.
Although I have to say, I don't know if you've seen it. Halloween. What year did it come out? I saw it in theaters too. I want to say 2018, 2019. Oh, there it is. 2018. I don't know if you've seen it, but Halloween 2018, which eliminates Halloween's 2 and all the other ones. It's essentially the new Halloween 2.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think that has been the best comeback for like one of those like old movie monsters or movie slashers. It's actually done very well.
Hmm. Yeah, I think can't remember if I saw that one or not. I'm pretty sure I did, and it was pretty fun, if I
That's good.
recall.
Hmm.
What's been your favorite horror game you played? In particular, that's got a one.
Ooh.
Cause I can think of some that have been pretty good hits for me back in the day.
Ooh,
Especially like favorite. Yeah, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, back in the day, I don't think I really played that many horror games. I think they've been more recent. Why don't you start? Because you're more of the game guy.
Oh my gosh, there's so many good ones from back in the day that I did play. Um, I remember a game that scared the living crap out of me when I was a kid was Resident Evil 1.
Mm.
My goodness. And I didn't even play that one initially. I was watching my dad play it. And I remember one particular jump scare it did. It wasn't really just a jump scare, because what it does is you walk down this hallway. In Resident Evil, the thing that they get you with is that you go down the same darn hallway like 20,000 times. Nothing happens. There's not a single thing that happens in it. So you get comfortable. You're like, oh yeah, I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to go. I know what's going on. I know it's safe. It's perfectly fine. No, you're wrong. They sneak one in every now and then where they just tell you, no, you're wrong. Things are not fine. Things are not okay. And my dad, he was running up and down this one hallway. He'd been down it a few times or whatever. And just randomly, one of the times, dog burst through the window. Zombie dog. My dad wasted probably 2 clips of ammo hitting nothing. He was so freaked out. And it freaked me out just as much as it freaked him out. I went lean back, so I probably went quiet on my bike. But like
No,
it
you're
freaked
good.
him out. It freaked me out just as much as it freaked him out. We both went to the bathroom to take a piss after that. We were both freaked out. He had the lights off and everything, and it terrified the living crap out of me too. Because out of nowhere, just and then the dog's running and killing you, and he literally used like 2 clips of pistol ammo and hit nothing. He might have hit that dog once.
uh, hmm. That kind of reminds me of it's not even really a horror game, but just the concept of making you feel safe. I don't know if you've ever played it. It's like a cutesy looking art style. Have you played Spooky's House of Terror or something like that?
I have not.
It's
I don't think I've heard of that. Should look that up.
it's like a cutesy type of art style, and it's like kind of like 6-bit looking as well. And
Yeah.
it's essentially you go into this castle. I don't even remember what the premise is. There even is one. I think you're like trying to save Spooky or get her free, or I don't know, whatever. But you're in this castle, and it's literally you're going down corridors, right? And I don't even remember what the object
Yeah.
is. But the game is very well at making you feel safe. Like you'll go down sometimes 10 corridors and just nothing happens. And then out of nowhere, and it's really stupid, but it's very effective. It's like a uh, like a sign with like a really cute
Yeah.
ghost or kind of monster on it that just pops out of the wall randomly.
Yeah.
But
Is it Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion?
yes, that's
So
what
that's
it
on
is.
Steam. Oh yeah,
Yes,
because that's on Steam. That's free to play.
yes, that's it. And
Oh my gosh.
it's very good.
How do
You
I
should,
download that?
yeah, you should play that on stream. It is very good. I made a video like a long years ago about it. It is very good at making you feel really safe. Like you just nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. What is the point? And then this cute little the sign pops out of the wall, and it is absolutely terrifying. It's just they're so good. Yeah, let's see. The last video I did for Spooky was 5 years ago. Jesus.
Yeah, there's a free to play version and there's HD renovation version. I get their HD renovation, I guess.
It's yeah. But when you were talking about the Res One, yeah, it reminded me of that. Like how I like how
Yeah.
some games are just so good at making you feel so safe and comfortable, and then they take that away from you, and it's like, how dare you?
Yeah. How dare you betray me like this? Why would you do that to me? Why would you do it to me?
Oh man. All right,
But
so
yeah.
Res One for you. What else?
I don't know. There aren't
And
that many horror games that like really mess with me. BioShock was actually kind of a game that kind of messes you at first, but you get pretty powerful near the end, so it doesn't really bother you as much.
yeah.
Um, Gosh, I'm trying to think of good horror games that kind of stuck with me throughout the time. I'm not sure if it's definitely a game that's like been a big horror game that's like messed with me on personal level or anything like that. But I do know one game. Let me see if I can remember what it's called because I don't want to mess up the name. Because I think I have it in my library. I'm pretty sure I looked it up again. If not, I'll have to find it again. It was on the Xbox Live Marketplace, and I'm pretty sure it's on Steam now.
Mm.
But it's like one of those point and click adventures, and it had like a 4-part series to it.
Hmm.
And I want to make sure, but it was surprisingly good. God, what was it called? It's another case of I can't remember the name of it, so I can't even look it up. It really annoys me. Oh my gosh. Crap, I can't remember the name of it. But it was a point and click game that really messed with me. My gosh, I wish I professional. I am a professional. Totally. Clearly are. We've
Hey,
been doing this for
we're
hundreds of
human.
hours.
We're human.
Yeah.
We forget. All right, I'm gonna name some off. Tell me if they ring anything. The cat lady.
No, that's not it. It's not a
I
popular one for sure.
I have no mouth and must scream.
Well, that is a great game, and I have it. It is not it.
Phasmagoria.
Well, we see where Faz maybe got its name from.
Sanitarium.
No, that's not it.
The seventh guest.
Nope.
Dark Fall.
Nope.
I'm skipping all
That is not.
the really popular ones because yeah, it's not gonna be that. It's not gonna be that. The Last Door.
Nope.
Harvester.
Nope.
Dark
That is
Seed.
not it. Nope.
Gabriel. Oh man, this text is so small. Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers.
Nope.
The 11th Hour.
Nope.
My God, how obscure is this thing?
It is pretty obscure, and I played all 4 games.
Corrosion? Corrosion. My God. I can't read
No,
English.
it's not that.
Darkness Within. Oh, this one has a
No.
couple of games. Darkness Within. No.
Where are you at, you son of a bitch? I know you exist on this platform. I know you're here. I wish I could remember because it's such a simple keyword. And I can't remember what the keyword is in my head.
Decay.
Bros. Wait.
Decay. I see a lot of
Decay the Nightmare?
decays. There's
Decay the
Decay the
Nightmare?
Mayor. There's Decay the Mayor. There's Decay, and then there's Decay the Mayor.
Oh my gosh. Wait, just a sec. Decay.
Oh my God, I'm getting excited. Did I get it?
Yeah, this is it. Decay. That's it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we figured it out.
Yes.
Ah, goats.
Hell yeah.
Goats.
Hell yeah.
I knew it was a single catchphrase. It was a single catchphrase.
Yes.
Okay, so there's Decay the Mayor on Steam. I know they have the other ones on Steam. Or they had the other ones.
Yeah, they might have the first one is apparently 4 parts, but maybe they have like a special edition where they're like it's all together.
And yeah, but that was one that kind of stuck with me. I'm glad we found it eventually.
It took
uh,
half an hour, but god damn it, we found it.
Welcome to the Trash Podcast.
That's right.
We'll spend half an hour looking for some obscure horror game from like 2010.
Oh
11
man.
years ago, baby. Heck yeah. No, that's right. Because I think I can't remember. I think Decay the Mayor was actually the sequel to the first Decay game, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's what I saw. It's the sequel.
Yeah. I wonder if did they have the first one at all on Steam? I don't think they do.
Mm-mm.
That kind of sucks. I wish they would have, because they have like an entire like set of games that they have released on Steam. There's like an entire bundle called the Gigantic Bundle, but they don't have the first Decay. That sucks. I would love to play that again.
Yeah, no, they just have Decay the Mayor on Steam at least. You can get the full collection, but on Xbox.
Yeah, I already had the full collection on Xbox, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Um, System Shock 2 was a good horror game. It's by the people who eventually made BioShock. It
Yeah, I played that one. That one's
y-
awesome.
yeah, it's like BioShock. I like everything about it, but it's really hard. I haven't been able to beat it. Really quick, what was Outlast was pretty good. I actually have, I think, the whole. No, I think I have the prequel or whatever on my channel.
Mm.
That was pretty good. I haven't done the second one. The best horror game for me that I've actually played from beginning to end that I really really liked
Yeah.
was Alien Isolation. It's the only one that I can really think of.
Oh yeah, Alien Isolation is a really good one. I haven't actually played it, but because I kind of had I went watching a lot of Let's Plays of that one,
Mm-hmm.
while doing other things. But that's a really faithful to the source material type game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is insane. It's also like I think honestly, like even without me having actually really played it a ton, um, probably the best Alien game. Period. Like
Mm-hmm.
just of all the Alien games, like there really isn't like a bar that even comes close. Bar none. It's like it sets the bar for just a damn good Alien game.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And
that was a really good one.
and I believe it's even canon because it takes place I think between Alien and Aliens. And I mean, it fits perfect. I mean, it's a game that you could honestly just watch if like somebody who's not talking, just like watch them play it, and it's a good
Yeah,
story. You could just like almost watch it like a movie. It's really good.
yeah, it's really good. I love it.
And I guess before we end it, I know I don't know if you played it. I'm sure you've heard of it. How everybody says Alien Colonial Marines is a terrible game.
Oh, Colonial Remains. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of have a soft spot for that because that's like the only good Alien game that I had to play. I mean, well, that's like strictly Aliens. I mean, there's Alien versus Predator,
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't know. I kind of have a soft spot for it. I mean, yeah, it has its problems, but I thought
It's it's a
it's
game.
yeah. I mean, I don't
It's
know.
a game. We all have that game. It's like it's a game that I kind of like, but I fully understand that it's missing a chromosome or two.
Yeah, I
It's a
mean,
little he's a little silly, but I love him anyways.
it did its best attempt to capture the feel of Aliens.
it
That's the
it
best thing I can
tried.
say about it. It gave it its
I
shot.
gave him a banana sticker for their effort.
Look,
Scratch and sniff.
Alien Colonial Marines. It tried its best.
It tried
I
its
give
best.
it an A plus for effort.
I give it a solid C minus across the board, except
Eh,
for actual gameplay where it gets an F. But I did play it, and it's actually not like the worst thing ever, but it's just because I do think it was one of those games where people just really hyped for it, and
Yeah.
it was not nearly as good as the hype. It was like nowhere close, but it's actually a game where it really the reality of it is it's actually kind of like a C minus,
Mm-hmm.
to a D minus. It's like it's not terrible. It's just kind of broken and not. It doesn't really work. It's because one is partially because of the bugs, like the alien pathing was just
Mm-hmm.
terrible because it had a bug, an actual bug that broke the the pathing of the aliens. So they all just did the exact same thing all the time. And if you fix it, it doesn't really make the game it doesn't make the game like good, but it does make it better significantly when you just fix that one bug already in the game. You could get a better sense of how the game is supposed to be, but it's still just fundamentally not a great game. But I could see, we all have the game where it's like it's not a good game, but I love it for what it is.
Look, the last thing I'll say about Alien Colonial Marines is it's flawed, all right? I can't close the game without Alt or Control Alt Delete and having Task Manager close it, because when you close it in the menu, it just opens up again. And
It's like, no.
you're gonna play this game, damn it. Look, you have to Control Alt Delete to close the game, but take it for what it is, and you can have some enjoyment.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Actually, this we're not gonna go into it next time, but this actually made me think of a good maybe for like a shorter podcast. Games that were overhyped, and when you played them, what you thought about it. Because like for me, I know Watch Dogs was like a game that was really, really overhyped. I played it years after it came out. I love the game, but people hate it.
I definitely have some I have some ideas on that one for sure. So
Okay.
maybe next time though.
Yeah, no, for sure. Next time, yeah.
Absolutely. Next time, whenever we get around to doing this, we'll have to keep that one pinned.
Yeah.
But since we are getting to the wrap up stage,
Yeah, we're
thank
good.
you
We're
so much.
2.5 hours. It's 4 a.m. for us. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, I'll probably be up a little bit longer. I'll probably eat some ramen.
I'm going to bed. I got
Yeah.
school. I got to teach a little kid school today.
But that was the Trash Podcast. Featuring myself, RuinedRainCrow, and of course
J Star Killer 93.
Killer 93. Yes, and thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for showing up and hanging out and chilling with us, and hashing out in the comments. Tell us your favorite in any of the subjects. What's your favorite film? What's that underrated title that you really think deserves to be known? And just all in all, like, subscribe, give it a what's in my do. Thank you for showing up.
Yep, all that. Later.
Hey. Smooth.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye.
But